Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Psycho Gold, this is Psycho Gold Videos. Literally in the last few minutes, the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer 2 has dropped. Now I'm actually in the middle of trying to sort out some anime stuff, but I saw this come up in my feed and I'm like, nope, we're gonna go and watch this now. Take a nice little break in between anime. So, one thing I need to say before we go any further, if you haven't seen Endgame yet, what are you doing with your life? But more importantly, this trailer does indeed have spoilers for Endgame. Now, admittedly, one could argue that the first trailer had spoilers for Endgame, namely that Spider-Man exists, but they didn't seem to be too fussed about that particular spoiler, but this one allegedly has direct spoilers, and I can guess what they are, having actually seen Endgame. Now, I haven't actually done a video talking about how I feel about Endgame. I might do. I originally had planned to do one, but then I lost my voice. It is now back, as you can hear, which is why I'm now trying to get back onto doing stuff. But if you guys are still interested in hearing my thoughts about Endgame, I could talk about Endgame for days. Me and my partner, Jade, have been talking about it a lot. We're still talking about it, even though we saw it on release night. We're going to be seeing it again soon, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really interested to see what this trailer is going to show us, but like I stress, if you haven't seen Endgame, and you don't want the film ruined, do not watch the rest of this video, do not watch this trailer. But at the same time, if you haven't seen Endgame, the spoiler ban has officially lifted as of Monday, which is today, so good luck trying to dodge the spoilers. I would just stay off the internet until you've seen it, but on your heads be it, dudes. We're gonna watch this trailer now. This video just tried to autoplay. Looks like we're getting a warning from Tom Holland, who's saying exactly what I just said, so yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching, because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer.
Thank you, I will.
Everywhere I go, I see his face.
Yep, okay. He's still wearing his Iron Spider suit. Oh, damn.
Would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
Wow. Oh, he's still got... Yes, okay. Okay.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your job.
Oh!
I'm going on vacation.
Nice. Okay, I like it.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
Hey?
I want to talk to Nick Fury. Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk. I don't want to talk to him.
Oh, okay. No.
What's up? We're just talking.
We know what's gonna happen now then. This makes sense. Oh! Ho, 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 ho. There we go.
Very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I wouldn't ignore Nick Fury's phone call.
It's Mr. Beck.
Wait, what?
You on my world.
Your world, Beck, is from Earth, just not ours. A snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do.
Wait, what? They're gonna do the Wait, you're saying that he's not our Mysterio? He's from...
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Okay, my mind is blown right now.
Please, you've been to space.
Yeah, but that is true.
Peter. I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man. Of course I'm not. I mean, it's kind of obvious.
What?
may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger.
I'm sorry, my brain is just fried.
Iron Man.
You going to step up or not?
Hell yeah. So Spider-Man's gonna try and take his place as a big lad in the MCU, where he should be. Oh!
I gotta get you guys out of here. Get on the jet. Who are you? I work with Spider-Man. You work for Spider-Man? I work with Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Get on the jet! Oh, alright, nope, there's no jet. Oh, I have goosebumps on my arm. That looks so good. Oh, that looks really good. There's so much to unpack in that trailer. We're going to do that in a minute. But right now I got to go show this trailer to Jade. And then I'll come back and talk about it. So, I just came back. Needless to say, Jade's reactions to the trailer were very similar to mine. Wow. So yeah, it turns out that first trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home really didn't actually have that many spoilers in it. Obviously it had the spoiler that Spider-Man survives Endgame, or is reborn in Endgame, however you want to look at it. But I think most of us knew that Spider-Man wasn't going to stay dead at the end of Infinity War. Same with Black Panther. The two of the biggest money makers for Marvel, and they just kill him. Nah, I think not. But, you know, it's one of those things where they might have stuck with their guns. You know, some people have stayed dead, and some people, you know, did die in Endgame, and that's a video for another time. But I am impressed, happy, excited, elated, however you want to look at it, about the implications that we've got from this trailer. Number one is that they're not just going to sweep what happened in Endgame under a rug and have it be self-contained. It looks like this film is going to be about dealing with what happened at the end of Endgame, or what happened in all of Endgame. The one thing that I'm still very confused about, and yes, it does require me to talk about Endgame, is the time travel aspect. Not the time travel itself, but the film does a time jump of 5 years from the start of the film to the main bulk of the film in the end. So the one thing that did confuse us when we saw the film is Hulk snaps everybody back, and they're exactly the same age as when they left. Makes complete sense. What doesn't make so much sense is how is that gonna work now? Because I just don't get why some characters haven't aged. Did everybody that Spider-Man knows get killed as well? Did the entire school get evaporated in the snap? Because it looks like everybody he knows is just back at the same age. But at the end of Endgame, you see Peter and Ned have a big old hug, and that kind of confused me, because if Ned had been snapped away as well, they wouldn't have actually lost each other, so to speak. Ned would have just reappeared like Peter did. And yeah, it probably would have been emotional, but the way they did it kind of implied that Ned has missed Peter. Same with Aunt May. But neither one of the characters, neither May nor Ned, appears to have aged. How would going back to school work? Because the whole class would have changed. But again, MJ, Flash, the rest of their classmates, they look the same to me. Maybe it will be addressed in the film, I don't know. But that was the only bit that I kind of feel like, wish you hadn't done that time jump. Because yes, it did allow for some of the narrative of Endgame to work. But I feel like going forward, I'm going to constantly be thinking, this doesn't make sense, because this was supposed to be 5 years later. But everything feels like it's just carrying on. But with that said, Spider-Man still having the Iron Spider suit looks great. Happy's going to be in this film from the looks of it a lot, which I love, because he was such a great character in the Iron Man films. I love the fact that they brought him in for the first Spider-Man film, even though he was kind of almost like a reduced role. It almost felt to me like the first Spider-Man film was almost more of a continuation of the Iron Man universe than the MCU as a whole. You had a big involvement from Tony Stark, you had Happy back for the first time, and obviously that was also the first time like Pepper had actually been seen in the MCU, and seeing all three of them together was just like we got a little bonus segment of, oh, the Iron Man films, yeah, those characters were a thing. And I'm so happy that Happy is going to be continuing to be around for Peter in this film. And obviously in the previous trailer for Far From Home, we also got hints that Happy and Aunt May might be getting a little bit flirty with each other. So maybe Happy's going to be in Peter's life more than Peter might like. But, you know, if Aunt May didn't get snapped and she has aged 5 years, maybe Happy and Aunt May have actually been, you know, getting quite friendly with each other in Peter's absence. And Peter's like, wait, what? Maybe they're keeping a few secrets from him. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But going on from that, the whole trailer is about whether or not Spider-Man is going to step up now that the world has lost, as Captain America put it in Infinity War, the Earth's best defender. Now, the Earth lost a hell of a lot more than that, but with basically the two original Titans gone and a whole heap of other powerhouses no longer with us, and the Avengers are obviously now in different places. Like they actually say in the trailer, Thor is not around, Captain Marvel is overrated. I mean, not available either, but basically the people that Spider-Man is like, what about these guys? They're like, nah man, sorry, it's just you. And I love the way that he's like, but I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Nick was just like, bitch, you've been to space. But that in and of itself leads me to wonder, we know from everybody screaming it from the rooftops that Captain Marvel is going to be a big part of the MCU going forward. But one character has never been MCU's goal. MCU has always had Iron Man, Captain America. They tried their damned hardest to make Thor one of those characters, but Thor never resonated as much with the audiences. He did eventually, don't get me wrong. Now I think Thor is just as popular, but it took him a while to get there. It took him a while to find their feet with him. But I'm thinking that this trailer is very, very strongly hinting that it's time for Spider-Man to shine. Spider-Man has always been, in my opinion, the flagship character of Marvel. He was Stan Lee's flagship character. He has had more movies, stories, cartoons than any other Marvel character. He is my favorite Marvel character. He's my dad's favorite Marvel character. And I love so many characters. Iron Man was a personal favorite of mine before he had a film, before everybody else knew who he was. But I will concede, and I definitely want to see Spider-Man now get pushed into the spotlight again and just be like, I was a kid when I joined the universe. Yes, I was inexperienced, much like Tom Holland himself, as we all know that he loves to drop spoilers unintentionally. But now there's a gap in the Avengers. Now there's a gap in what big heroes can people look up to. And as Nick Fury even says in the trailer, and I think Happy says something similar in the first trailer, but now it has more meaning, are you going to step up? Everybody's in trouble, and unfortunately you're alone, and you're the only person you can count on. But that's the same for everybody else who came before you. They didn't become a team until they'd already become standalone heroes in their own right. And now it's Spider-Man's turn to be a little bit more than just New York's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And if that's the direction they want to push the MCU in, if they want Spider-Man to be one of the top heroes alongside Captain Marvel, and, you know, according to many sources, Thor ain't going anywhere. Thor is going to stick around. It looks like they've got a pretty good solid plan of where they want to go next. And speaking of where they want to go next, Mysterio. Now, when I first saw the first trailer for Far From Home, I theorized that Mysterio is obviously manipulating everything. That everything that we're seeing in terms of these monsters is his holograms, is him, you know, setting everything up. Everybody knows that he's a special effects guy, and, you know, stuff went wrong with his life, and he ended up basically turning to a life of crime using his very unique set. I hate that term, very unique. Using his unique skill set to turn him into a pretty decent supervillain in his own right. But this trailer has kind of thrown a curveball that I both didn't expect and love. This might not actually be our Mysterio. This Mysterio could actually be genuine and could actually be a good guy from another dimension. Which, if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, means that there is a storyline that the MCU might be heading towards. According to Fury in this trailer, the Snap, of which there have been many, so God knows which one he's referring to, tore a hole in dimensional reality, and now various different worlds are coming together. Again, if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, this might sound very familiar to you. And it's interesting that Spider-Man is the character that they've chosen to bring this idea through to the MCU. If it's true. Because as I just discussed with Jade, yet assuming that Mysterio is telling the truth, because there is a very good chance that this might turn out to be a lie, and that Mysterio is still manipulating events so that he can become a hero, get the money, get the fame, and, you know, be the person that everybody loves and adores. But in reality, he is also the one creating all these problems, which is why he's the one that for some reason is able to solve these problems. Now, I was beginning to think that that wasn't the case until I started to put bits and pieces together from both trailers. Namely, Peter says that the world needs the next Iron Man. Now, if you remember, Flash in the first trailer said that Mysterio is kind of Iron Man-like. I think the storyline will be that Mysterio is going to be set up to be the world's next Iron Man, and that's what the media is going to say as well. Like, Mysterio is going to make Spider-Man not look that great. But Peter is going to eventually figure out Mysterio ain't what he appears to be. Now, if that happens, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed in Hill and Fury, because that means that two of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s former top dogs got tricked by a guy who used to be a Hollywood special effects artist, possibly also a stuntman. Which will be a bit irritating, to say the least. However, there might be more to it than that. Maybe there will be truth to him coming from another dimension, but perhaps the fact that he's a quote-unquote good guy might not be true. Because I think that the idea of the multiverse being brought into the MCU is too good of an opportunity to end up being a ploy by Mysterio. I kind of think that we're going to see truthful elements of both storylines of what I've just suggested. Or I could be entirely wrong, and that this Mysterio might actually be a good guy. That would certainly be a twist that I would not have predicted, and it would make for a very interesting film to see a version of life where Mysterio is a good guy. Sorry about that. Just decided all of a sudden it wanted to cramp, which was really helpful. But yeah, Mysterio being a good guy could be a very different take on the character. It could open the door for other characters being not quite how we know them. I just said to Jade, the idea of multiverse means that so much could happen. Things could get really crazy with other characters. I mean, we already had a lot of time travel nonsense, but you want to bring in other dimensions into this? The first thing I thought of is, well, I know that I would love to see an alternate version of Captain Marvel come through. You know, the actual Marvel, not the one that they gave us in Captain Marvel. Different versions of Spider-Man, obviously, linking to the Spider-Verse, so Miles Morales could be a possibility. We know that the other characters have met different fates across different universes. We could go over to the Ultimate Universe and see different versions of how characters came to be. We could also, you know, I don't think that they would do it so quickly, but if this is true, they've also opened the door for, yeah, characters might have died in our universe. But what if they didn't die in another universe? So, of course, they've opened the door for the possibility of seeing Captain America, Iron Man, Vision, Black Widow, all of the characters. I'm missing out some names, but I don't want to just list loads. But you know what I'm saying? If multiverse is a thing, actors could reprise their roles. Characters that have been done poorly in the past, I'm looking at you, Mandarin, they all have opportunities in the future to come back as we want them to be, as we wanted to see them originally, especially you, Mandarin. There are so many possibilities, and it also opens the door for characters that have been quite well known for not being in the MCU. Mutants, fantastic people, villains such as Galactus and Doctor Doom, that you think, well, where the hell have they been hiding all this time? Well, they might not be from our universe. They might now be in our universe because of this problem that's happened with one of the so-called snaps. Now, I'm really getting ahead of myself, and I know that I'm theorizing a lot about the future of the MCU from this trailer, but I think this film is going to have a lot of setups, just like most MCU films do, that might seem like unimportant details or throwaway lines, but I think they're going to be much more important than that. If you've seen Endgame, and if you've seen any of the videos, because there are hundreds of the damn things that are talking about little things that were set up in other MCU films, one of which was set up all the way back in 2008's Iron Man. Whether or not they were actually deliberate lines, or whether that people were just very clever in linking back to sentences that were said that were never supposed to be setups, I don't know. But MCU writers are very, very good at either linking back or thinking forward. I don't know which way around they do it. It's probably a mix of both, but either way, I'll be very surprised if Spider-Man Far From Home isn't setting things up for the next phase and quietly closing the book on the current phase, because yes, although Endgame is kind of like the capstone, this feels like it could be both an epilogue and a new beginning for Spider-Man going forward. I can't wait. It looks absolutely incredible. Not so sure about that MJ line. That's a bit weird about her possibly knowing that he's Spider-Man, because I know that secret identities is kind of like an old-fashioned idea when it comes to Marvel superheroes, but Spider-Man having one was kind of nice, because in all honesty, it kind of made him unique, because he's like the only one that was holding on to his secret identity. But Ned knows who he is, May knows who he is, Happy knows who he is, everybody he meets he seems to tell his name to and takes his Spider-Man face mask off in both Avengers films. So if MJ now knows that he's Spider-Man, unless she's just playing, because that character does tend to do that, says things and then immediately revokes them and says, "No, man, I'm just joking with you." I don't know, but it's going to be a bit like, okay, is there anybody other than Flash that doesn't know who he is, you know? But again, we'll have to wait and see. I am so excited for this film. We will definitely be going to see this midnight viewing, and now that my brain is back in an MCU mode, even though I'm trying to get through some anime, I will definitely make sure to do a video talking about Endgame. I won't wait until I see it a second time, because we're not seeing it for a while, maybe? I can't remember when we're seeing it, I'm not gonna lie. But either way, this has been an amazing trailer. Hats off to both Sony and Marvel for not showing off how much of a follow-up to Endgame this film actually is with that first trailer. The first trailer, I almost feel like they could have got away with saying, well, this film actually takes place before Infinity War, which is why it's not a spoiler to show it off, and I'm almost surprised that they didn't do that, unless they did and I missed that. But this trailer almost feels like it's for a different film. Yes, there are some scenes that cross over, but with the stuff that happens in Endgame, with what we learn, and now with how this ends, I just feel like this film is just going to be so emotional and yet so good at the same time. If you haven't got over what happened in Endgame yet, I don't think this trailer or this film is going to do you any favors, but either way, I'm going to be seeing it. Are you going to be seeing it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you can. I would highly appreciate that. And if you're new around here, be sure to click that subscribe button. But that's going to be it for me, my friends. As always, my name is Psycho Gold, and I will see you in my next video. Psycho Gold, out.